What's up, guys? Tim here. So got another knife review for you today, and we are looking at, I guess for all intents and purposes, my one true grail knife. Yeah, this is the Michael Birch Midtech, and this is version 2. So yeah, I've had this knife for quite some time now, more than a month. And the reason why I waited so long to do this knife review was to just I guess just to make sure that I wasn't, kind of in that sort of honeymoon phase with the knife, because then, I'd just be singing praise about this knife nonstop, and I wanted to make sure that I just wasn't overly excited about the knife before I gave it a fair review. Okay, and also, just using the knife for that amount of time really gives me a better perspective on it, and really gives me enough time to generate an honest opinion about its usability and how it carries and all that. So yeah, without saying too much else, let's get started. So what we've got here is yep, as I mentioned, a Midtech. So as I believe, the Midtech work that was outsourced were the handle scales and possibly even the blade, but of course all the finish work is done in-house. So the main components were probably water jetted out, and then Michael Birch, and I believe he had help from Chad Nichols. They did all the finish work on the knife. So starting off with the blade, first thing you'll notice is just really how interesting Michael Birch's blade shapes are. They're very, very unique blade shapes. Just even the overall look of the knife is very unique. And if you think about it, there's only so many ways you can design a knife, especially in this day and age where there's so many makers out there. And if you stick with the more traditional blade shapes, knives tend to look the same. But that's why we have custom makers and custom knife designers, and they strive to stand out in a world, in the knife world, that is, right? So this blade shape is loosely based on, I believe, on his impetus model. And if you just Google search, image search Michael Birch impetus, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it's got a what I best describe as, I would say, a modified sheepsfoot blade. So it's got this kind of hump here, and a slight amount of tip, decent amount of belly, and this straight edge here. And it is flat ground. I'd say about halfway. And very, very nice blade shape. It's very utilitarian in my mind, and also to me very sheeple friendly, which is it's not very threatening. In fact, a buddy of mine on USN likened the blade shape to Toucan Sam or something like that. So I guess you can kind of see that. But yeah, very usable blade shape. And the only drawback about this blade shape is the tip. As I mentioned, it's only got a slight amount of tip, so this knife doesn't really excel at piercing, for that matter. It can still pierce to a certain degree, but at most in EDC tasks, you might be like opening a bag of something. You might have to pierce through it first before you slide across. And you can still do it, but it just won't pierce as easily as other more traditional blade shapes. Okay. Steel is, I believe, CPM 154. Takes a great edge. In fact, I just recently resharpened this because I've been using it so much. And takes a really keen edge. And it came actually very sharp from Michael Birch. The edge wasn't, it definitely wasn't one of those super polished presentation grade edges, but it was very deceptively sharp. It looked kind of rough, but it was a great slicer. In terms of slicing, actually, the edge, the bevel is, I don't know the exact dimensions, but it's not exactly paper thin compared to, say, a Sebenza or something else like that. But I think for EDC tasks and most working tasks, the edge is fine. It just might not be the best slicer in terms of like food prep or whatnot. But I don't use my knives for food prep. It's mainly for utility for me. And yeah, really nice stone wash on the blade, as you can see here. Let's see if we can get some focus in here. There we go. Really nice stone wash. Almost has like a matte, well, it's not like a shiny stone wash. And you can see Michael Birch's logo there. You can get it. Yep, Burchtree Midtech. So I really like the finish on this. Makes a great user. I believe Stonewash to me is definitely the best, I guess, utilitarian finish because it hides a lot of wear, and yeah, it's just overall it makes a great user finish. So it's got jimping, kind of thick cut jimping on the back. It is rounded. It's not hard cut, but you know, be that as it may, I still think it serves its purpose. It's not, you know, you can't really lock into it, but the ergos are so great on the handle that I don't think it's an issue to have soft cut jimping. You know, I definitely don't mind it. Thumb studs are perfect, absolutely perfect. So you can see the shape of them. They're kind of, if I can get the camera to focus, let's do this first. So they are titanium thumb studs, and they are stepped, as you can see here. So it's got all these little ridges on it because of the milling work on it. And what that does is it allows the thumb studs to really grab your thumb when you go to open it or actuate it. So, I mean, it makes it super easy to just, you know, pop the knife open, or if you want to open it slowly, that too. And it is, you can even, you know, spidey flick it with this one here. Right? Works really great. And because of the shape of them, as you can kind of see, let me get focus first. As you can see, they've got this kind of dome, but on the inside they kind of hourglass out like that. And yeah, it just gives you even more purchase when you're opening the knife. In fact, I've used this knife so much that I think my thumb has actually started to burnish the Stonewash over the logo. I start getting paranoid that I'm going to rub the logo off because I've been playing with it so much. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, that's the blade. And it's about 3.5 inches, I believe, if I didn't mention that already. So getting to the handle, yeah, full titanium frame lock, stonewashed. It's got his hole pattern. Very similar to the V1 Midtech, but the holes are larger, I believe, on this one, and it does look better in my opinion. And ergos are perfect, really good. It's got this one choil here for your index finger, and then your three fingers kind of rest here. And when you grab it, it just really fits well. You can't feel the pocket clip at all, and it's comfortable in, you know, all the basic grips. You know, thumb on the ramp, just like natural grip. I actually look for this in a knife too, this kind of reverse grip. It's not like, you know, the ice pick grip, because sometimes when you're pulling material and you need it cut, you might grab the knife like this and pull it this way to cut through like rope or something like that. And of course, you know, people always use this grip, but I don't ever really use my knife this way. I believe I have used it once, a different knife in this grip, because I was, you know, slicing through something that was really tough. But overall, yeah, great ergonomics. Feels great. And as you can see, the titanium slabs have been, I believe that's called chamfering when they do that, or beveled all the way around. And it adds to the look and comfort of the knife. And just to give you another little detail in here, the pivot has actually been orange peeled. So, I don't know if the camera's picking it. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. The pivot screw has been orange peeled, and he's kept the hardware side. The screw itself too has been orange peeled, but he's kept it on the locking side of the knife, which is great because you know, it makes for a much nicer presentation. And the pocket clip itself too has also been orange peeled, which is I've been a little back and forth on orange peeling, but I think when it's done finely and it's not too rough, it does look very good, and it also helps protect with in terms of scratching. Flow through construction, 2 titanium standoffs, and these aren't just any sort of stock standoffs. These have been milled. So I've got a deeper cut channel in the center and 2 shallower ones on the outside, which is really cool. Adds to the look of it. Lanyard hole, and yeah, I put a my own kind of lanyard on here, just the black and red paracord with the schmuckatelli bead. Awesome beads, by the way, if you're into lanyards. But overall, just a really great knife, guys. This knife has actually really kind of changed my perspective on higher end knives, because this is direct from maker. Yeah, by the way, these were sold via lottery, and he did 2 runs of 100 each, so there are 200 Midtechs out there in total. The first run was only 75, but this one he did a lot more. And man, if you got this knife for the price that Michael was selling them at, which was I believe $350 around, you got a really great deal. I mean, for the money, it's probably the best bang for your buck you can get out there, because this is a knife that's not just high-end production, it is a semi-custom or mid-tech, and the quality definitely is there. I would think that this mid-tech is everything like that of a full custom from Michael Burch, except of the fact that doesn't have really exotic materials, nor is it fully customized with like I said, exotic materials and blade finish and whatnot. But I would think that the quality of his knives is just like this, because everything is fit very well. Super smooth deployment, by the way. It is running on Teflon washers, which I don't believe I mentioned. You can kind of see them. Not really. You can't really see them in there, but they are Teflon. And this knife did need a bit of breaking in. I did receive it secondhand on the secondhand market. I didn't get lucky on the lottery, but after it's been broken in, man, is it smooth. It is, I'd say, almost smoother than my Sebenza, which is crazy. But yeah, just really like glassy smooth. In fact, sometimes I even prefer to open it slowly so you can feel that smoothness. Yeah, super solid lockup too. No play at all, up, down, left, right. Very easy to take apart and put back together and lock up. You can get a shot of the lockup here. It's about, I'd say 25%. Has not moved since I got it, and I've been carrying this knife nonstop since I got it, which is more than a month ago. And yeah, really nice lockup. The lock face has been carbidized, so that will really help with the life of the lock, and it'll probably last for years and years. And I'm sure if there were any issues with it, Michael would service it for you, no problem, even though he's a busy guy. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this knife. And getting back to the prices, I overpaid for this one because I got it on the secondary market. Well, I wouldn't say I overpaid. I paid a bit more because I bought this on the USN forums, and I paid, well, I don't want to get into the specifics, but I did pay about double for what they went for. And would I do it again? Absolutely. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but I really, really like this knife. And Michael Burch is doing a version 3 Midtech, which is probably coming out later this year. And I mean, if I didn't get lucky on the lottery for that one, I would, without a doubt, pay secondary price for this. These did go a little crazy at first when they first came out, but they've kind of leveled off, and people are asking somewhat reasonable prices here and there. So yeah, I mean, awesome. So just to give you a bit of size comparison, put that one there. Here it is next to the Chris Reeve large Sebenza, my Carta version. Get it lined up. Yeah, so just a hair shorter. Yeah, but almost the same. And I mean, in terms of pricing, this knife retails for about $45 shipped from most knife dealers, whereas this one, if you got it at dealer price, was much cheaper than that. And it's arguable, as to which is better, because everyone's got their own preferences, but I would choose this one over the Sebenza any day. Maybe just because I like the design more, but that not to take away from this knife, because it's a great knife. Okay, and one more comparison next to the Kershaw Injection 3.5, another great value folder. So yeah, about the same. All right. So I think that's everything I need to say. This is a really great knife. If you have the chance to get this at a reasonable price, I'd say reasonable to me is if if the seller hasn't marked it up for like more than double. I think that's reasonable. I mean, because you weren't really one of the lucky ones that got in on the lottery. That person, I guess, has the right to up it a little bit, but that's debatable. Anyways, yeah, I think that's it, guys. Really loving this Michael Birch Midtech. Have not stopped carrying it ever since I got it, and I don't think I'll ever stop. I mean, it's a great knife. All right, so I think that's everything I want to say. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, comments about the knife, please feel free to let me know. And I'm always interested in having dialogue with you guys out there. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the next video.